Welcome, my friend.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. In today's video, I'll be doing a what if scenario, and that is, what if Coleman Trebor killed Count Dooku? If you enjoy videos like these, please drop a like, and if you're new, please subscribe to the channel so I can make more videos like these. The arena on Geonosis was a swirling maelstrom of blaster fire, lightsabers, and the roar of battle. The Jedi had arrived in force, rescuing their captured comrades and turning the tide against the Separatist forces. Amid the chaos, Count Dooku, the leader of the Confederacy of Independent Systems, stood calmly, surveying the battle with a sinister confidence. High above the fray, Coleman Trebor, a Verk Jedi Master known for his calm demeanor and keen intellect, observed the battlefield. Trebor had a clear view of the Separatist leader, who was isolated on a balcony, issuing commands and overseeing the droid army's movements. Coleman leapt towards Dooku with a determination that radiated from his every move. He quickly ignited his lightsaber and struck down Dooku almost immediately. Coleman Trebor stood over the fallen Sith, breathing heavily. The battle around him continued, but this victory was pivotal. The Jedi had lost many of their own in this conflict, but this single triumph reverberated through the ranks. The Separatist leader was dead, struck down by a Jedi Master. Jango Fett would flee the scene and take Boba with him. Nute Gunray and Rune Hakko would be arrested on sight. The news of Dooku's death spread quickly. For the Republic, it was a major blow against the Separatist alliance. In the heart of Coruscant, Chancellor Palpatine's office was a bastion of power and control. Behind his calm demeanor, Palpatine was enraged. Dooku's death was a setback, but it also presented an opportunity. He needed a new apprentice, someone who could take Dooku's place and lead the Separatists with strength and fear. Palpatine recalled his former apprentice, Darth Maul. He had been cut down by Obi-Wan Kenobi on Naboo, yet Palpatine sensed that Maul still lived. The dark side of the Force had whispered to him of Maul's survival. Sidious decided it was time to find his lost apprentice. Through his extensive network of spies and informants, Sidious discovered Maul's location on the desolate world of Willful Minor, a garbage-strewn planet of lost souls. It was a fitting place for a broken Sith to hide. Sidious dispatched his agents to track Maul down and bring him back to Coruscant. On Willful Minor, deep within the tunnels and garbage heaps, Maul had been living in a feral state. His once formidable body was now a twisted, cybernetic shell of his former self. His mind was consumed by hatred and revenge. When Palpatine's agents finally found him, Maul was almost unrecognizable, but the dark side still pulsed strongly within him. Maul was brought before Sidious, bound and weakened. Despite his current condition, the fire of his hatred for Obi-Wan Kenobi and the Jedi Order burned brightly.
Master Sidious.
Welcome back, Lord Maul. You have suffered greatly, but you have also grown stronger. The dark side has kept you alive for a reason. I have need of you once more.
With Palpatine's help, Maul was restored. His body was repaired, his mind sharpened. The pain and suffering he endured only fueled his connection to the dark side. Sidious had found the perfect weapon to replace Dooku. Maul's raw hatred and desire for revenge made him a formidable leader for the Separatist alliance. Many of its leaders were uncertain about their future without Dooku's guidance. When Maul emerged as their new leader, he did so with a terrifying display of power. In a dramatic and brutal show of strength, Maul executed several high-ranking Separatist leaders who doubted his authority. The message was clear. Dissent would not be tolerated. The Separatists, already driven by fear and desperation, quickly fell in line under Maul's leadership. Maul's command style was vastly different from Dooku's. Where Dooku had relied on political maneuvering and strategic finesse, Maul led with raw power and intimidation. The Separatist forces became more ruthless, their tactics more aggressive. Under Maul's leadership, the war escalated to new heights of brutality. Maul's first major act as the leader of the Separatists was to target the Jedi directly. He had a personal vendetta against them, especially Obi-Wan Kenobi. Maul's obsession with Kenobi became a driving force in his strategy. He orchestrated several attacks aimed specifically at Jedi strongholds, attempting to draw out Kenobi and settle their score once and for all. The Republic, meanwhile, struggled to adapt to this new, more aggressive Separatist strategy. The Jedi, caught off guard by Maul's relentless assaults, found themselves stretched thin. The Clone Wars grew even more chaotic and deadly. As the Clone Wars raged on, The Separatists, under Maul's command, launched a daring and audacious attack on Coruscant, the heart of the Republic. This was a move even Dooku had not dared to attempt. The objective was simple: capture Chancellor Palpatine and force the Republic into a position of weakness. The Republic's defenses were formidable, but Maul's strategy was cunning and ruthless. He employed a combination of direct assault and sabotage, utilizing both the Separatist fleet and infiltrators on the ground. The battle for Coruscant was fierce, with the Republic's forces struggling to repel the invaders. In the midst of the chaos, Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi were dispatched to rescue Chancellor Palpatine, who had been captured and held aboard the Separatist flagship, the Invisible Hand. The ship, a massive dreadnought, was heavily fortified and protected by Maul's most loyal forces. Anakin and Obi-Wan fought their way through the ship, cutting down battle droids and Separatist soldiers alike. They finally reached the observation deck, where they found Chancellor Palpatine, but Maul was waiting for them. The sight of the Sith Lord sent a shiver down Obi-Wan's spine.
Kenobi, at last we meet again, for the last time.
Obi-Wan and Anakin ignited their own lightsabers, prepared for the battle of their lives. The duel was intense, with Maul's ferocity pushing both Jedi to their limits. Anakin's raw power and Obi-Wan's refined technique created a formidable combination, but Maul's hatred and dark side prowess made him a nearly unstoppable force. The fight raged across the room, with sparks flying and the sound of clashing lightsabers reverberating through the metal corridors. Maul targeted Obi-Wan with a particular fury. His strikes aimed to kill. Anakin, driven by his desire to protect his mentor and prove himself, fought with a passion that matched Maul's. Despite their efforts, Maul's sheer aggression began to overwhelm them. He managed to separate Anakin and Obi-Wan, focusing his attacks on Obi-Wan. Anakin, desperate to help, channeled the Force in a way he had never done before. With a powerful surge of energy, he managed to push Maul back, giving Obi-Wan a chance to recover. However, Maul's hatred for Obi-Wan was too deep, his determination too fierce. In a devastating move, Maul feigned weakness, drawing Obi-Wan closer. With a sudden strike, Maul's lightsaber pierced Obi-Wan's chest, his eyes widening in shock as he fell to the ground, his lightsaber extinguished.
Master!
His voice echoing through the room. The sight of his mentor and friend dying before him unleashed a torrent of emotion. Anger, grief, and a burning desire for revenge surged within him, fueling his connection to the dark side. Maul, sensing the shift in Anakin's demeanor, smirked.
You cannot save him, Skywalker, just as you could not save your mother. You are weak, and everyone you care about dies because of it.
Anakin's response was a feral roar as he launched himself at Maul with renewed ferocity. Their lightsabers clashed in a blur of red and blue, the Force crackling around them. Anakin fought with a power and intensity he had never displayed, driven by his anguish and fury. The battle was brutal, with Maul finding himself increasingly on the defensive. Anakin's strength and speed were overwhelming, his attacks relentless. But Maul, ever the cunning warrior, saw an opportunity. He parried a particularly powerful strike from Anakin, using the momentum to leap backward and create distance.
You are strong, Skywalker, but you lack control. Your anger makes you powerful, but it also makes you predictable.
Anakin, blinded by rage, charged after Maul, but the Sith Lord was already out of reach. With a final mocking grin, Maul activated the escape pod's launch sequence. Then the pod shot away from the invisible hand, leaving Anakin alone. Anakin stood there, trembling with fury and sorrow. He turned back to Obi-Wan, kneeling beside his fallen mentor. Obi-Wan's breathing was shallow, his eyes dimming. Obi-Wan would then pass on, leaving Anakin kneeling beside him, tears streaming down his face. The loss of his mentor and friend was a devastating blow, one that would haunt him forever. The Republic's forces managed to repel the Separatists from Coruscant. Chancellor Palpatine, rescued and safe, praised Anakin for his heroism and valor. But the loss of Obi-Wan left a void in Anakin's heart, a void that Palpatine was quick to exploit. Anakin's grief and anger made him vulnerable, and Palpatine, ever the manipulator, used this to his advantage. He began to plant seeds of doubt about the Jedi Order, emphasizing their failures and the loss of Obi-Wan as evidence of their incompetence.
You are the most powerful Jedi I have ever known, Anakin, but the Jedi have held you back. Only through me can you achieve a power greater than any Jedi. Learn to know the dark side of the Force, and you'll be able to save the ones you love.
Anakin, struggling with his emotions, found himself increasingly drawn to Palpatine's words. The Chancellor's promises of power and control were tempting, especially in the wake of Obi-Wan's death. The darkness within Anakin began to grow, fueled by his grief and the desire for revenge against those he believed had wronged him. Anakin's thoughts turned to his wife, Padme Amidala, and the visions of her death that had plagued his dreams. The fear of losing her, just as he had lost his mother, and now Obi-Wan, consumed him. Palpatine's words resonated deeply, offering a solution to his fears and the means to prevent the pain of loss from ever touching him again. Palpatine's manipulations intensified, revealing his true identity as Darth Sidious, offering Anakin the knowledge and power he craved. Anakin, conflicted but increasingly disillusioned with the Jedi, finally agreed to join Palpatine. Anakin knelt before Palpatine, pledging his loyalty to the Sith. The transformation was complete. Anakin Skywalker became Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith. With Anakin now firmly under his control, Palpatine's plans moved forward with renewed vigor. He declared himself Emperor, dissolving the Republic and establishing the First Galactic Empire. The Jedi, already weakened and scattered, became the targets of a brutal purge. Anakin led the charge against his former comrades. His power and ruthlessness made him a terrifying enforcer of the Emperor's will. The Jedi Order, once the guardians of peace and justice, were all but destroyed, their remaining members driven into hiding. Maul, impressed by Vader's prowess and potential, sought to align himself with the new Sith Lord. Palpatine, seeing the advantage of having two powerful Sith at his side, allowed Maul to serve under Vader's command. Together, they became an unstoppable force, crushing any opposition to the Empire. Padme was rushed to a medical facility. The skilled medical droids and doctors did everything they could to stabilize her condition. Amid the chaos, Padme went into labor, giving birth to twins, a boy and a girl, whom she named Luke and Leia. Despite the advanced medical care, Padme's condition remained critical. The heartbreak of Anakin's fall and the weight of the galaxy's turmoil had drained her strength. Padme's strength finally gave out, and she passed away. Her last breath, a whisper of love and hope for Anakin and their children. Anakin, consumed by grief and rage, turned to Palpatine, his eyes burning with fury.
You promised me she would live!
In your rage, you chose a different path, Lord Vader. Padme is dead, my friend. Even the power of the dark side cannot bring her back. But in her death, she has given you a gift, pain. Now you must choose. Will you accept that gift, or will you die?
With Padme's death, a new resolve formed within Anakin. He realized that Palpatine had used him, exploiting his fears and desires for his own gain. The anger and sorrow he felt transformed into a burning determination to overthrow the Emperor and take control of the Empire himself. Anakin began to plot against Palpatine, carefully concealing his true intentions. He reached out to an unlikely ally, Darth Maul. The former Sith apprentice, having harbored his own resentment towards Palpatine, saw an opportunity in Anakin's proposal. Together, they planned to overthrow the Emperor and seize control of the Empire. The time came for Vader and Maul to put their plan into action. Palpatine, now confident in his hold over Vader, was unprepared for the betrayal. Anakin and Maul launched their attack within the very heart of the Imperial Palace on Coruscant. The battle was fierce, with the dark side energies of the three combatants clashing violently. Palpatine's lightning crackled against Maul's dual lightsabers and Vader's brutal strikes. Despite his power, the combined strength and determination of Maul and Anakin began to overwhelm him.
You fools think you can easily defeat a master of the dark side? Your overconfidence will be your undoing.
Anakin's response was a grim, determined silence as he pressed the attack. Maul's hatred for his former master fueled his strikes, each one aimed to destroy the man who had cast him aside. Finally, in a devastating display of their combined power, Anakin and Maul struck Palpatine down. The Emperor fell, his body consumed by the dark energy he had wielded for so long. The galaxy had lost its tyrant, but the power vacuum left behind threatened to plunge it into chaos. With Palpatine dead, Vader and Maul took control of the Empire. Anakin, now known solely as Darth Vader, declared himself the new Emperor, with Maul as his enforcer. The two Sith Lords ruled with an iron fist, determined to reshape the galaxy according to their vision. Vader took Luke and Leia into his care, determined to mold them into powerful Sith. He rigorously trained them in the ways of the dark side, pushing them to their limits. Under his harsh and relentless tutelage, the twins grew strong in the Force, becoming formidable and feared. Vader instilled in them the ruthlessness and cunning necessary to dominate the galaxy. Luke and Leia, now deadly Sith apprentices, executed their father's will with ruthless efficiency, solidifying the Empire's reign of terror. And that's where I'm going to end the story, everyone. I really hope you've enjoyed this one. Leave a like if you did. Comment below your thoughts. If you're new, subscribe to the channel so you won't miss new content in the future. Also, be sure to check out my second channel, Pulley Productions, where I make independent short films. Thank you all for watching, have a great day, and may the Force be with you. Always.